Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the video that I filmed back in April before all the chaos kicked in. If you haven't seen that video as to where I've been, I will link it up above. But this is my kid-friendly, sensory processing friendly lasagna recipe. It's also vegetarian and it's cheap and easy and cheerful. Cheap and cheerful, however I wanted to say that. Anyway, let's get straight into the video. It's going to be a quick one and I hope you enjoy it. Let me know down below if you do try it and what you think. This is how I get my child who doesn't like chunks to eat a lasagna. These are the ingredients we are going to need. We've got a couple of carrots, a couple of sticks of celery, 1 big onion or 2 small onions, some garlic. I've got dried, but definitely use fresh if you've got it. Some lentils. I have bought this pack of lentils from Aldi. It makes the dinner a bit quicker and you've got all the flavourings in there. This is what I do sometimes. Sometimes I make my lentils from dried. You can do any way you want. However, with a new baby, this is my little cheat. And then normally I would use a can of chopped tomatoes. However, I will be substituting them just because I have some passata and some cherry tomatoes that I need using up, as well as some stock, some tomato puree I normally add. However, I'm currently out. And then we've obviously got some lasagna sheets, and then we will also be making a roux for our cheese sauce. So I've got some butter, flour, cheese and milk. I'm using a dairy-free option for milk, but you of course do not need to do this. I just find the dairy milk options are a little bit cheaper. First of all, because I will be blending this meal, you don't need to be precise, and I'm actually going to grate pretty much all my veg. I'm grating the carrot and I'm going to grate the onion because I don't have time just to sit there and dice my onion up if I'm going to blend it anyway. The only one I am going to be chopping is my celery into teeny tiny little pieces. We're going to heat a little bit of butter or olive oil or whatever fat that you would like. I'm using butter for this meal, but I mix it up. Sometimes I use ghee, sometimes I use olive oil. But we'll let that heat up, and once that is melted, we're going to add in the onion and the garlic. Let that cook off for a few minutes until translucent and soft. And then we are going to add in the carrots and celery and let that cook down for a few minutes. Of course, adding in salt and pepper as we go. After I leave that to cook for a while, I'm adding in the cherry tomatoes. Normally I wouldn't do this just yet because I'll be using a tin of chopped tomatoes, but I just needed to get these tomatoes used up, so I'm using fresh. And then, if you have it, a way to really elevate your dinner is adding in some red wine. I honestly just buy the cheapest bottle of red wine possible for cooking because I don't drink alcohol. And then I just leave it on my side for months and add it into dinners as and when I need it. So I have a good glug of red wine. Of course, this is optional. If you do not have this, you don't need to go out and buy it. I would encourage you not to if you won't use it. Then we are going to add in the stock cube. Then let that cook down for a few minutes before adding in the lentils. And then this is when you would want to add your bay leaf and any other herbs and spices that you want to add in. I'm going to follow that with the lentils, give it a good mix, and then now if you're using the chopped tomatoes, this is when you would add in your chopped tomatoes. And now you want to let it cook down. And honestly, you can leave this on the hob all day and just keep mixing it. You put it in a slow cooker if you want. The longer you cook this, the yummier it will taste. I'm going to put that to the side and start making, while that cooks, and start making my roux. I'm not giving you measurements for this. You can just Google this really easily, but it's generally let your butter melt, add in the same amount of flour as butter, and then keep adding milk. You are meant to warm your milk. It is meant to be better. I don't have time for that, so we're just going to add it straight from the carton. The carton is not cold though because I have opened it from the cupboard. So then you slowly add in your milk, you're whisking it as you go, let the flour cook down. Then when you have got it to the consistency that you want, we are adding in salt, pepper, garlic and any herbs and spices you want. I'm adding in some basil and some parsley. And then give that a mix, and then we're going to add in your cheese. You can choose what cheese you want to add. It can be vegan cheese, it can be any form of dairy cheese. If you have a child that likes it, Stilton would be amazing. However, A, it's more expensive, and B, my kids are picky, so we're going with plain old cheddar. I'm going to add in my cheddar cheese and a little bit of Dijon mustard. When I'm adding in things like herbs and spices and Dijon mustard and things like that, these are optional. You do not have to add these in. That is why I don't show them at the beginning of the recipe. And then I put that to one side while I blend up my bolognese. Again, this is of course an optional choice, but this is how I get my sensory processing child to eat this dinner. And then I'm ready to assemble my lasagna. So we start off with a layer of the bolognese mixture, either blended or not, it doesn't matter. On top, put your lasagna sheets, and then you add in your cheese sauce. If you want between each layer, if you like a really cheesy dinner, you can sprinkle some cheese as well on top of each layer of cheese sauce, just for some extra cheesiness. But then we continue this until we get to the end. And then right on the top of the lasagna, add whatever cheese, if you would like cheese at all, add your cheese. And then we're just going to bake it in the oven between 30 and 40 minutes. And we served this with some sourdough pizza rolls that I am trying to perfect the recipe on. This was not it. They are garlic bread pizza rolls. I am working on it. This was my first attempt. And they weren't terrible, but they weren't amazing. So maybe stay tuned to see if I ever figure this recipe out. Both my kids really enjoy this meal.